Justin, do you ever see yourself getting married?
No, not on paper. No, absolutely not. I believe in love and marriage and in regards to taking care of a woman fully and your responsibilities as a father and a provider and protector, 100%. In fact, I think that's probably what's broken about the world. But in regards to letting the state get into all my businesses that took me over a decade to build, absolutely not, no.
That's a very
How
smart.
do you think you're going to get to the place of that marriage you want with that family and that lifelong love that you just talked about?
I didn't say I didn't have family or children. I just said
I
I was running
see.
your business.
Oh, I see. Okay.
So
you want to keep it private is what you're saying.
that's
Yeah.
what I
I
said.
understand.
Justin has
I
enemies.
might have multiple family.
Oh.
You never know. I might like family more than you. So much I have 5.
Do you think that's a good thing to have multiple families?
I think it's good if there's one dad and there's not a bunch of step parents involved and the dad can be the hero and those 5 families live a 10x better life than they would have otherwise. Yes, ma'am, I do.
But you don't think that it will be ultimately an opportunity for jealousy or disharmony amongst
Women
two
are always going
different
to be
families?
jealous. What's changed
I'm not
about that?
jealous in
Women
my
have been jealous
marriage.
all the way through time. So
I'm not jealous in my marriage.
I don't care about your marriage. I'm talking about mine. What my life is going to be. So I don't answer to you. So that's my answer. I'm going to run my situation exactly how I want to. And generally, when I do that, that's when I have the most happiness, let's say, in my life. So that's all.
And you would want that for your daughters?
Yeah. I live my life unapologetically on my terms. So if my daughters that are overly spoiled and educated in every way and have friends all over the world and world traveled in the best schools in the world, if they have a problem with me at the end of the day, then they can kick rocks too. I'm not going to simp for my daughters. I'll love them fully. But if they grow up and turn into a person that doesn't want to get in line with me, or look, here's my goal as a parent: teach my children how the world works. Give them the skills so they can live on their own terms and give them choice. If they choose not to make me part of their life after I've given them those things, I've still succeeded as a father.
But I guess I'm asking if you're comfortable answering, obviously. But are you wanting to be a role model for your kids? Is that part of your
1,000%.
goal?
A father should show up in every way for his children. I think I'll be better than most fathers, regardless of how many children I have. I might have 100.
But you think part of being a role model, it's okay for your kids not to know even your relationship status with their own mom?
They will know the relationship
But they're-
status with me and their mother.
But you have other relationships with other women, too.
What does that have to do with anything?
But I'm just wondering if you think
I
that's
haven't
a
even
problem.
said that. I'm just saying, like, if I want to, I will.
But you don't think that's a problem for your daughter to know that about their dad? That he has multiple mistresses?
That's up to my daughter, man. You know?
But do you want your daughter to have a guy like that long term?
If he takes care of her in every way and she has a much better life because of it, yeah, I'm cool with that.
Wait, do you want to have 100 kids? Is that like low key?
I'm gonna have a bunch of kids. Yeah, I believe in having kids, man. So there's too many dumbass people having kids. Might as well have a smart person have some.
Dude, is Justin low key
Spread your
about to
seed.
repopulate the world?
Kids are awesome.
Is Justin
I
is
don't-
Justin about to
Single-handedly.
single-handedly reverse the declining birth rates?
They got all these single women out here talking shit about shit, man. Well, cool. I'll have babies with you. What's up? Now, part of it is being a smart ass right now, right? To be honest, but look, if a guy decides to have a bunch of children, I mean, you see it happen all the time. Guy gets married, he's a shitty father, shitty husband, ends up getting a divorce, and then goes and has babies with the next chick, doing the same thing I'm doing, except I'm not a lying coward about it.
I hear you.
So,
I see that. I see
is
that.
what it is.
But I think the big question is, I mean, it seems like you're really focused on self-improvement, which is awesome. And so I guess my question would be, is it ideal? Like, what are we striving towards individually, right? And what do we think is best for society? And I think kids want to know their parents love each other and are committed till death do they part to each other.
Yep, didn't
And
say
so-
any of that wasn't true.
But
You're the
but
one
do you-
saying that's not true.
Okay, but do you think it would be a little bit confusing for one of your kids if they found out, let's say
No,
theoretically?
because if they
you
trust me
had-
enough to come to me, I'll just tell them the truth. What are we talking about? I'm not hiding from anything. I just told you.
I understand that.
It
So-
seems like you're challenging because you have a problem with it. I simply don't care.
So your kids, you're saying you don't care if they find out you have multiple mistresses.
If I had
Separate from their
multiple
own
women
mother.
and then my kids came to me, then I would just talk to them like an adult. If they're adult enough to ask, I'm
But if they're
adult enough
6
to
years
tell
old,
them.
though?
Well, whatever they ask, I'm there for. You know, that's it. Find somebody else. I don't feel bad. I'm gonna live in truth. Here's the difference between me and most men. Most men are doing this shit behind people's back, right? Like a fucking coward. And they're not even giving the family the life that they deserve. So if I choose to do that in the future, which I have not said I'm gonna do, then so be it. But if I don't, I don't.
I hear you. I guess that you're saying you don't want to share your relationship status, but then you just said people are hiding it and being a coward. So I guess
I think there's a difference between not wanting to share one's relationship status publicly on a platform like this versus
when I have a
with one's
big
family.
internet following and like offices that you can Google and all kinds of things like that. I don't want that smoke for people in my life.
I see. Yeah. Can I ask you one more question?
Fire away, honey.
Okay. If you have only one place in your heart for one woman, or you want to have one woman in your heart, I think you said, why don't you just commit to one and choose to be faithful to her?
I'm just not wired that way. I spent my whole 20s trying to fix myself. I thought something was wrong with me.
You're a man of self-control. You work out, you do business.
Yeah.
You can possess your own power and direct it the way you want to direct it.
It's just not how I am. It's not how I am.
You think that might be a limited mindset?
I think it's none of your business, but I don't want you to think I'm triggered by you. I'm not.
Okay.
I saw somebody say that, and I think that's interesting. I think you're annoying, but I'm not triggered. You know what I'm saying? No, you are. You're annoying in like this goody two-shoes type way, and that's fine. I'm going to live my life on my terms, unapologetically, like truly. So you can ask me this 85 different ways. At the end of the day, I'm going to walk out of here the same man.
I have a question.
Let 'em roll.
Do you think marriage should be public?
What do you mean?
Do you think that when you commit your life to someone and you're going to build a family with them, do you think that should be done in community, so public?
I think that's up to the people that do it. I don't think there's a right way to do it at all. So that's up to you.
So you think like for children, they don't have the right to know whether or not their parents are married and be able to feel that when they go out into society and share that?
I think that if your kids ask, you should tell them the truth 100%. There's no lie or nothing I would ever keep from a child of mine.
Meaning the truth about, no, we're not married. I have other people I'm sleeping with.
Whatever they ask me, I would answer. Yeah.
I think as somebody that was raised by a single mom, like those things, they don't matter as much to your child as you think that they may. I mean, it did have an effect on my relationships growing up, but it's also something like you can learn from that experience through your parents, you know? Like you can, as long as you have open communication with your child. And I don't have any children, but I have younger siblings, and I'm openly communicative with all of my family members.
I think what's most important when it comes to kids is their love in the house. Do they see love between their parents? Not are they living the way of making people that go to church happy? It's a very downward deflecting question you're asking me, and I understand why you're doing it. However, I'll put love first in front of marriage every day of the week, because people get married in America every weekend, putting the marriage and the Facebook pictures before the actual love. So I'll take the love over all the bullshit.
I think that's probably true. There's a lot of...
It's definitely true.
There's a lot of hypocrisy out there, for sure.
There's a lot of hypocrisy in
Christianity
Christianity as well.
Yeah.
Like Bible thumping people that want to beat you up with their views and ask silly questions about things that don't matter. Like, is your kid going to be upset that you have other women? All I'm worried about is being a good fucking father and a provider and giving them a life full of love. And if I can do that, I've been quite successful. In fact, I'd say more successful than most Christians.
So my understanding of love...
Shots fired.
My understanding of love is that it is totally wanting the best for the other person, and that it's committed, and that it's sacrificial, and that it's exclusive, it's faithful. And fidelity, I think, is a really important part of love. And if you don't have fidelity in love, then you don't have the security and the opportunity for full vulnerability.
Can I throw a hypothetical at you?
Yeah, please do.
And this is a hypothetical, please don't get offended. But if your husband were to do something that was not okay with you whatsoever, to the point where you did not any longer want to be with him, whether that's cheating or something else that's just a no for you, would you leave
She
them?
would stay.
Would you leave them to just please your children and to keep your family together? Is that like you're willing to risk your own happiness and well-being, or even safety, if it was something that was that extreme?
Are you talking about abuse?
I'm using a hypothetical.
Okay.
Whatever it is that would be like a straight, like, I need to leave this person. Would you stay with them just for the convenience and also the toxicity that it could bring into your household, inflicting your children, you know?
So my position is, and it's the position of the Catholic Church as well, which is that if you're in a situation in a marriage that's abusive, right, it's causing harm to you or your children, then you definitely should create separation. You should leave. You can actually get a legal divorce if you need to separate your assets. But the position of the church and my belief is that marriage is forever, until death do us part. Until death do us part. So you can marry someone and they become a screwball. You know, they totally mess up. They do bad things, and you should separate yourself from them for your protection or your kids' protection. But you then don't go on and just remarry and try to live another life. Now, there's something In the case if you were lied to, so there's something called annulment, which some people say, oh, that's Catholic divorce. It's actually not. Annulment is when it's as if the marriage never happened because people were lying typically when they go into the marriage. So like typically abusers don't just start abusing after marriage, they're abusing before marriage too, or they're lying. So if they're lying to you in a serious way and you go into a marriage, you weren't able to freely choose that marriage. And so afterwards you can request an annulment from the church and be like, hey, I don't think I was even married because I didn't freely choose this. I didn't know this guy was a liar and, you know, addicted to pornography and abuse and all these things. And so in that case you could nullify the marriage and then be free to actually get married.
I want to say something just to be completely fair to you. I think what you have in your marriage is absolutely beautiful. No
Thank
problem
you.
with it at all. I think that if you two are happy and like living together in the Lord and like you see a future that goes past this life to heaven, I think that's a beautiful, beautiful thing. No
Thank
issue
you.
at all.
Well,
and you should be commended for doing it, you know, properly.
Well, but
And not properly in regards to your religion, I don't mean to cut you off, but properly in regards to like what you are setting out to do with him. I think that's a beautiful thing.
Well, we're definitely imperfect people figuring it out, right? And that's what part of marriage is becoming better together, you know, in that total commitment to each other. But the thing is, like, I'm passionate about not just wanting it for myself, right? Like, I'm very grateful to be married. It has rooted my life. It has anchored my life. It has changed my life. But I don't want to just keep that to myself and be like, oh, this is just my personal thing over here. I want other people to have the opportunity for that too.
What do you think it takes for women to get in a position to find a husband that will commit to them fully and give their life to them? What do you think that takes?
Well, I think the first step is working on yourself and your own development as a woman, becoming the best that you can be, and then having good standards for the man that you're going to be with. Like, to be perfectly honest with you, I would not ever date a guy who I thought would be unfaithful to me. Not even date him. Never. If I found out my person I was dating is sleeping with other women or sleeping with anyone, honestly, because we didn't have sex before marriage, I'd be like, no, I'm not interested in that.
But I ask you what you think a woman needs to do.
I think the woman needs to become the best she can be. She needs to grow psychologically, be healthy. If she needs to heal from trauma from her childhood, a lot of us have baggage. I had baggage. Go get the therapy that you need. Really understand.
Do you not believe that therapy is in the church and Christianity?
Do I not believe what?
Do you not believe it's everything that you need is at church? You can't just find that in the Word?
Well, the beauty of Catholicism is it's very much focused on the whole person, right? So it's not like we're just spiritual beings, right? We're also bodies with desires, with traumas, with experiences. And so the psychological world and, you know, psychological health is an important part of bodily health. And it connects to your spiritual health. So therapy is great. You know, obviously we totally promote therapy for those that need it. Mental health is really important. So just because you're doing the right thing spiritually doesn't mean you're necessarily mentally healthy. You may need to get mental health support too. I think this is actually something a lot of people who are really spiritual fall into. They think, oh, if I'm just pray enough, I can make my depression go away, right? And yes, sometimes God does just heal depression like that, but a lot of the time God uses natural means like a good therapist, you know, a good psychiatrist to help somebody through that. I think the human condition is that things aren't always amazing, right? We have bad days, we get sick, terrible accidents can happen. And so that's where the power of love comes in, a love that doesn't leave, a love that isn't based on feelings or desire, but a love that's based on choice. And I think deep down, we're all wired for that. Even men that like you were saying, Justin, like, I want to be with multiple women and everything. I think deep down we want a love that stays, a love that lasts. And it is possible for everyone, every single person at this table. I guarantee you 1,000% it is possible for you.
Not for asexual people.
Yeah, but I would argue that, like, who are you to tell me that I'm not going to be happy because I don't choose your path?
Yes.
I don't think I said that.
Pretty much, you reframed it in that way. So who are you to say that?
I will say.
Or do you think I'm going to be less happy than you?
I think that if you live your life, and you said you're not sharing whether or not you're doing this, so we're all talking in hypothetical, right. So I don't know exactly how you're living, right? You didn't share that. But if hypothetically you live your life where you are starting multiple families with multiple women.
What if I have one family and 50 girlfriends?
I think in the end it will bring great unhappiness to
Okay.
your family, to your children, to the mother of your children,
Okay,
and to
cool.
you.
Okay, cool. Just want to clarify what you're
So
saying.
kind of
Men have always led the world. Let's not act like that's not the case. We invent, build, and maintain society. The fact that despite how beautiful you are, you're stunning. The fact that you can make more money than the motherfucker that paved the road for me to get here is a joke.
Yep.
It's a fucking joke, and it's broken. Now, that's not disrespect to you, but one thing I will say about Dubai, if you want to bring Dubai back up, is that you can't do that shit in Dubai. Yeah. You can't. You can't. You can't even get on a porn site in Dubai if you wanted to. And one thing
what
I
would
think
they
that
do to you in Dubai? Like
you just can't do
head
it.
chops? at Chop
No. They take it away. And for that, I will say when I'm in Dubai, not only is it safer, but you see more families in Dubai. You see kids, you see things like this. It's a beautiful thing. And you know, I'm all about people having their free rights and everything, but I do think Dubai gets that right, because if America doesn't do something to save the men so men can be good enough to get good, beautiful women like you ladies, then we are always going to have this problem regardless of religion.
This is why we should ban porn in America.
I'm about it. I'm for it. Look,
Let's
if we
go.
agree on anything,
Let's
we'll
go.
ban. We
I'm
ban
so-
porn. I'm all about banning porn,
It's
because
so
what's
funny.
happening.
It's so funny how the women are more upset about it than the guys right now.
Well, no, look.
'Cause we're trying to
but the
freaking save
point
our
is,
country.
but the point
We
is
care about
this.
what's happening.
The point is that
the
listen.
thing is,
I'm in the, go ahead.
One quick thing is, perhaps the women at this table haven't been hurt by a man cheating on them, or a boyfriend or something cheating on them and looking at porn or cheating with another person. But I know people that have been hurt, and probably we know people who have been hurt.
I have been.
You have been.
Yeah,
okay.
exactly.
So
And that's the
so
point.
what's the golden rule, right? Do unto others how you'd want them to do to you, right? And so I think that's really, you mentioned a crisis of masculinity. I think there's a crisis of femininity too, because you know, we set the standard as women, right? Like that's part of our role in society of saying, like, we're going to have boundaries, we're going to have standards for the men, and that they need to rise to the occasion for us.
But I would argue there's just as
And
many
the
male
reason-
feminists as there are women feminists.
Yes.
Well-
and
They're all
those
simps.
pussy motherfuckers are the ones that's messing everything up.
They're all simps and
Young,
losers.
beautiful girl would be much happier if there was a man that you could be inside of his frame and not be talking to weirdos on the internet. I know you make a lot of money, and I don't blame you for doing it. 70 grand a month, that's good money. But ideally for you, if there was a man that you could look up to, admire, want to be inside that frame, and you knew he had everything taken care of completely, you would put it down. And it's not anybody's fault but weak men that a young lady like this is having to do something like that, because there's no man around that she can identify as the
Traditionally, men
one.
are providers and we are the caretakers.
Mm-hmm.
And because of how, again, you guys were saying weak men, for that reason, I was raised where you don't rely on anybody. You get your bag by yourself, and that's for that reason. My household was very traditional, yet we were still raised because of how the world was turning, that you provide for yourself and you rely on absolutely nobody.
In the same, on the opposite side of the spectrum, as a single girl that does OF, guys completely discredit me the second they find out what I do, and I
Based.
I know I'm not saying, I'm not in the point in my life where I'm like, oh yeah, I need a boyfriend. I'm just saying, like, it can be just as difficult on the other opposite side of the spectrum. So don't put yourself down or compare yourself, because if you compare yourself to other people, then it takes the gratification out of your own success, your own happiness. It's not worth it.
Al,
that.
you're very smart, I can tell. And do you want to be a role model for other people ultimately? Is that something that you'd like to be?
Of course, and I believe that I can do both, and it not be a degrading, like, me not, I'm not degrading myself by women are gonna
Putting
be
your
sexual.
body naked on the
give me
internet.
that
Do you
rapper.
think that- do you
Give me the
think that-
rapper.
Do you
Give me
think
the
that
rapper. Here,
you
give it to
we
me.
should have young girls
Give it.
looking up to?
No,
Like, do you think the
you're
dream
making
of
too
a
much
young?
noise. Give it.
Do you think that the dream of a young girl
Give me the
should
rapper.
be?
Yep. Give me the
Hey
gun.
Brian, let me ask the
Give me
question,
gun.
okay? Do you
Yeah,
think
but
that?
she's, bro, she's like making noise with
All
this
right,
rapper.
we're done. Al, do you think that the dream of a young girl should be to be an OnlyFans?
I think that a young woman should have a choice to do what she wants with her body, and that it shouldn't be frowned upon to do whatever means necessary to be independent. And that's my opinion, and you don't have to agree with it, and you don't have to agree with the way that I make my money, and you reserve that right for yourself, and I respect that opinion. I do. I think it's powerful that you're allowed to have that opinion, but I don't think that I need to agree to it or co-sign it.
But I think we all just had this conversation. Chase was talking about it, asking questions. I think we were kind of all mostly agreeing, maybe not every single person, but most of us were agreeing that, you know, porn has really hurt society at large, and we wouldn't want to be in a relationship with a man who looked at porn. A lot of men on OnlyFans are married men who are looking at the porn, and their wife is, you know, they're being cheated on basically. So, I mean, that role model that you want to be.
All right,
Then it's
Ladies-
men's job to
ladies.
step up and take the market away. It's back to what I said earlier. Men have always led the world. Why are we going to act like it's women's faults now? If there was no platform for her to make this kind of money on, she wouldn't be doing it. If
I think
men
it's
were
a good
better,
point.
she would be with a different man. It is men's job to take this responsibility and stop subscribing to it. Not the girl's fault, because the girl has no man to get under and get behind and believe in, no man to marry, no man to be submissive to. And so the only thing that's out there is for her to make money with his easy way, because he's weak ass fucking dudes.
Okay,
One thing
all right, hold on,
one quick thing. One thing I really appreciate what you're saying, Justin, is that you're saying men need to take responsibility.
Men should take responsibility
which
for
I
it,
love.
which is not a new thing. It's always been this way. So
Agreed.
for us to flip it on the chicks now, I think is dumb.
Agree, but I would just argue that women are strong. We have agency. We can make decisions. I agree with some of the language coming out of this side of the table that we make decisions, we make choices, and we should use that power for what end, right? It's not like men have all the power, women have no power of choice. Women have the power to decide the standards that we hold ourselves to and that we hold men to, and the kind of women we want to be, and the kind of role models we want to be for the next generation, right?
And the truth is that if we took porn away from young men,
Bird dog,
that they would be incentivized to go become that strong man. I'm all for getting rid of porn.
So let's do
I'm
it,
all
bro.
for that.
I'm
Let's
scared if
do
we
it.
get rid
I
of
am
porn
about that
'cause-
Let's
completely.
do it.
I love that. And
I
everybody
love
in
what
our
we said.
and everybody in this space, or a lot of people in this space, would naturally, easy decision, almost 100 out of 100 say get rid of porn. I'm all
So
about
how
it.
could we do that? Like, how could
That's
we
a
go
great
about
question.
doing that?
Well, that gets to like a governmental level now.
Yeah, I
doesn't
mean,
it?
we'd have to
It's
legislate it.
legislative.
Well,
yeah.
I think I think there's legislation that can be done to ban porn because I think
But-
it is.
But
shouldn't be
that
on the
would go
market.
back to making the United States of America have its Christian backgrounds come and stand up to the point where people would go vote for it in that way.
But I think the other thing
Deus
too
Vult.
is it kind of takes a leap of faith as women because if culture is demanding from us, right? I mean, that's what you guys we're dealing with. Culture is we're swimming in is sexually objectifying women,
Okay.
rewarding women
I
for
love to
sexual
be objectified.
objectification, right? And
Haram.
so, but I do think there's a role of personal responsibility that women we're not doomed to anything. We can make any choice we want, and we can start over. We can walk a different path, and we can be the women that we dream to be. That isn't just making money on the internet one way. We can
I am
change
the
our
woman I
path.
dream to be. I've arrived, and I'm so happy with her.